I'll bet nobody saw this coming. Davis retains the championship because of referee Steve Willis. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Can't speak on that?
Yes.
He did some shit though?
I can't speak.
No personal opinion, nothing?
Can't. Especially
You, that show you right there. He got power.
Cash cow.
That's what I'm saying. He put in the seats, man.
And I'll tell you what, Steve Willis also knew there was a cow because he started counting and then stopped.
Say leaked audio recording allegedly reveals that Gervonta "Tank" Davis and referee Steve Willis conspired to manipulate the outcome of Davis's fight against Lamont Roach Jr. This revelation has sparked outrage among fans and analysts, leading to calls for an immediate investigation into the bout's integrity. Veteran referee Jack Rice weighed in on the controversy, emphasizing the flexibility of boxing's rules. He highlighted that referees hold ultimate authority in the ring, with full discretion to determine knockdowns and stoppages. His comments have further fueled the debate surrounding the leaked audio scandal involving Davis and Roach.
Against Formoso Hernandez, when he lands the punch and turns his back and takes a knee, he gets counted. You think of Miguel Cotto against Antonio Margarito, where it was under duress and he just took that knee. And of course, my compadre right here, Chris Algieri against Ruslan Provodnikov as well. It wasn't a particular shot. You feel something, you feel discomfort, you take a knee. All those times, there's a count, dude. And I'll tell you what, Steve Willis also knew there was a count because he started counting and then stopped.
Yeah, we'll get to it. There's more than one pillar of this defense for Lamont Roach Jr., but the first one's a knockdown, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of experts on the panel today. I'm going to speak from a fighter standpoint, just like you did, Champ. And you can argue whether that right hand landed clean or if it landed hard or how hard those jabs were. It doesn't matter. Champ, when you mentioned when I took that knee against Ruslan Provodnikov, I actually didn't get hit. I was still recovering from the last knockdown when my orbital was damaged. My eye was damaged. My vision was impaired. I gave ground so I would keep my opponent off me, and I still couldn't see. So I took a knee, understanding very well that as soon as I took that knee, I was going to get a count. And I had 8 to 9 seconds to get up, and I had more time to get my vision back, which it did, thank God.
And Mayweather didn't get hit either. He threw the punch.
Yeah, he actually landed left on Formoso, Hernandez.
So, this is standard procedure here, guys.
Yeah, and we got to see the question I have to ask. I got to start with Jack Reese. Is there something we are as fans aren't seeing about this knockdown that changes it? Because me as a fan, I saw a knockdown in round number 9. What's your thought?
The heart of the controversy centers on the 9th round when Davis took a knee. Many argue that this should have been ruled a knockdown, a decision that could have significantly influenced the judges' scorecards. The failure to recognize the knee as a knockdown has sparked widespread debate over the fight's legitimacy.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis, GTD, and I don't mean got the draws, went up against Lamont Roach. Let me tell you something. Tank got spanked. Roach should have won. And Tank even dropped to his knee. It should have been called a knockdown. But they let it slide. They said, you know what? He said he had grease in his eye from his braids. But it still should have been counted as a knockdown. Because since it was a unanimous draw, that knockdown would have gave Roach the win.
Davis, GTD, and I don't mean got the draws, went up against Lamont Roach, and let me tell you, Tank got spanked. Roach should have won. At one point, Tank even dropped to his knee, which should have been ruled a knockdown, but they let it slide. He claimed he had grease in his eye from his braids, but that shouldn't have mattered. The knockdown should have counted. Since the fight ended in a unanimous draw, that single knockdown could have secured Roach the
Beat him 2 times in the amateur, but this time, Lamont was ready, man. He was ready. He was in shape. He took Tank punches. You know what I mean? And they was going back and forth. You know what I mean? And I thought it was a real close fight, but I thought Lamont edged it.
Were you surprised that Lamont backed Tank up and was winning in exchanges? Because Tank is looked at as probably the biggest puncher in boxing.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised because, like I said, when he came out the first time, he came out using his jab, and like he was backing him up. But you know, Tank fight that way a lot anyway. He fight like that anyway. He'll move around. And you can back him up all you want. And, you know, Tank set them traps, man. He set them traps. So, you know, the traps that he was trying to set, Wichita was prepared for the trap. You know what I mean? He was prepared for the trap because he would counter, and Lamont would counter right back. You know what I mean? So it was a great fight, man. Can't take nothing away from neither one of them.
Now, as far as the knee goes, you've been in boxing for over 40 years.
Over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like that? A guy takes a knee?
No. Now that's something I didn't expect him to do. You know what I mean? You know, he took the knee. You know what I mean? And then ran to the corner and got his eyes wiped out. They never allowed that. They would have started counting. You know what I mean? I see that he started counting, then he stopped. You know what I mean? But you got to understand, you know, Tank got a lot of power. That show you right there, he got power.
Cash cow.
That's what I'm saying. He put asses in the seats, man.
Somebody said
Yeah.
him getting his face wiped off, him sticking his head through ropes and getting his face wiped off was supposed to be a disqualification. Is that a rule?
That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what I heard.
Veteran trainer Boozy Yees shared his perspective, stating that while the fight was competitive, he believed Roach had a slight advantage. Andis, with over 4 decades in boxing, remarked that he had never seen a scenario where a fighter took a knee without it being ruled a knockdown. He also acknowledged Davis's formidable punching power, emphasizing that such incidents should be carefully evaluated.
Lamont started giving him some work and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring. And again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto, take a knee, obviously into his corner, be put on the count. If we're allowed to start taking knees and run to our corners, well, I'm gonna start doing it too. If I as soon as I feel something, everyone will start to do it. But it's just not right. You're a warrior. Doesn't matter if there's grease in your eye, a bit of gel in your eye, or whatever excuse you want to use. I've been through wars where there's blood pouring in my eyes. In the Lomachenko fight, blood was pouring. I'm wiping it away. We've seen it with other fighters. So we don't get opportunities just to take a knee, go to our corner, wipe us up, and might as well have a coffee and have a laugh and then get back to action. It doesn't work that way.
Saw a bit of back and forth between you and Hitchens on Twitter, you and Gervonta as well. Where does that sort of animosity come from?
They just love mentioning Kambosos. They love the name, and like I said, when we're getting called out and spoken about by the world level guys, the champions, they're all champions, world champions, and it shows how big our name is. And like it or not, we still have one of the biggest names in this game. Love me or hate me, you have to respect what I've been able to do, the guys I've been able to fight, and still, headlining big shows and still in line for more title fights and opportunities to become 2 division champions. So
Former unified lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. voiced his concerns about the incident, stressing that in boxing, a fighter cannot simply take a knee without it being ruled a knockdown. He highlighted the effort and dedication Roach put into his training camp, suggesting that such rulings undermine the sport's integrity and the hard work of the athletes involved.
Stops contest because look, there's no way a fighter could take a timeout and go get his, during the round. There's no way a fighter could say, okay, timeout, because he took a knee like a timeout kind of thing, and walk to his corner to wipe his face. That's fucking unheard of and never seen before. There's no way that's legal in boxing. It shouldn't have. When a fighter, we just seen it recently with Espinosa and Rubesis. Rubesis got hit with the right hand, and then he walks back and walks away, and the red right away wiped it up.
That happened with Lara versus Angulo.
Exactly. It's over. It's over. So Tank doing that, took a knee. It should have right away. The ref should have started, counting as a knockdown. But he still walks walks away to his corner. I'm actually, surprised that the ref didn't call it a knockdown, because he's a really good ref.
Willis is a really good
Willis
ref.
is a great ref, one of the best in boxing right now, and that was a big mistake. He should have counted as a knockdown. Like I told you, I wouldn't have been surprised if when he walked away, if he would have just waved it up, because that's walking away from the fight. Because of the eyes, during the break, tell the corners to wipe it out. And you can't do that when the fight's going on. There's no way, nothing. You can't do that when the fight's going on. You can't time out, take a knee, and walk away. There's just no way. But it is boxing, and a lot of things happen in boxing.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia weighed in on the situation, asserting that referees should stop the contest if a fighter takes a knee without a legitimate reason, such as a low blow. He emphasized that boxing rules do not allow fighters to call for timeouts during a round. Garcia also expressed surprise at Willis's decision, noting that Willis is generally regarded as a competent referee and should not have made such an oversight.
What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a night. It's boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
Weight contender Rolly Romero took a more empathetic stance, acknowledging that all fighters have off nights. He suggested that Davis's performance may have been below his usual standard, implying that external factors could have influenced the outcome.
From previous times that he had been fighting, he made a change in trainers, but he also made a change in the location in which he was training. He went and had Barry Hunter from DC, from a gym called Headbangers in DC, as his head trainer, while Calvin Ford and Kenny Smith took a backup role. Gervonta Davis also worked out in Washington, DC. Now, as you know, Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach fought each other in the amateurs. Their teams know each other. The people know each other. They all know each other in the same circle. What was told to me was that Lamont Roach's team knew pretty much what Gervonta Davis was going to do and what his approach was going to be to the fight, because they knew what Gervonta Davis was working on in camp. That because he was in that same area, and it was the DC area, and Lamont Roach was a DC fighter, and Gervonta Davis considered DC his second home, but it's not his second home. There's a big rivalry between DC